what big thing happened today? Of course, the eclipse. 2 days of absolute awesomeness, wrapped up in a whole bunch of happiness. All right. Welcome to this week's Be About It podcast. We have had a great time this weekend with WrestleMania. Yes, we saw the fun, we saw the glory, we saw the action. And it's just going to get better from here. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in, get it going. But first off, what big thing happened today? Of course, the eclipse. Pretty much anybody you talk to who was talking about it, I couldn't throw a rock and everybody was worried. The rapture was here. The world was coming to an end. This is like my fourth apocalypse living through, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Pat on the back for myself and all my generation. I mean, they probably lived through a few more. But I actually got out, saw the eclipse. Now, I was borrowing glasses because like a dumbass, I decided I didn't need one. I'm not going to look. I was one of them. I'm just going to do it myself and forget all about it. It sucked. I was like, I had to borrow some glasses just so I can get a good look at the thing. But it was actually incredibly cool. Awesome. We ain't going to see this again for another, however many years. Scientists already got it pinpointed. It won't be back in the U.S. for, I think, 30 years. So at least for a full eclipse, we'll get partials and things like that, little tips where we won't see. But we are not going to get that full eclipse, every horror movie we ever saw kind of thing happen like we did today. So it was an awesome feeling on it. It really was. I was get out there, and then whenever I got out there right about 1:20, so it was dim, but it wasn't like completely off the wall dark. So I just sitting out there hanging, watching everybody else just stop what they were doing, wait to see some idiots crash because everybody's tried to stop and look at the eclipse happening. But whenever that eclipse fully happened, and I mean full-blown horror movie type stuff, that was awesome. You just saw the ring. I kept expecting a little creepy little girl to crawl out of it and attack Earth. But it was an awesome little sight to see. I mean, it lasted for a good 4 minutes, and I ain't gonna lie, I kind of glanced up without my goggles or glasses or things. So I was like, the ring that was. Now, there's been some awesome pictures about this where they have captured the little, I think it's called the corona, as I was pointed out to today. So, but no, it was a great view. I hope you had a great time, but don't worry, no zombies from what I've heard, no turning of the clock back, no fountain of youth found, and of course, no bombs exploded. So we made it through another rapture apparently. So congratulations to everybody out there as well. So, but that being said, I hope you all had a safe trip. Or a safe little experimentation with the eclipse. Hope nobody went blind because we were all warned about that. But kind of made me feel like a kid again doing a science experiment. I do enjoy those things. But I know that's a lot of butts there. I'm just getting them all out. We did have some fun. WrestleMania. Oh, it was WrestleMania week. It was so awesome. They kept on adding things, kept on doing things. It was a great show. I don't say that about a lot of WWE shows, especially in the past 5 years, but this one was great. 2 days of absolute awesomeness, wrapped up in a whole bunch of happiness. Yes, so many good things. Now, I don't know if y'all tuned in last week, saw my predictions, but I went about 80%. There was only a couple things that I did not call. I nailed it. Man, if I was in Vegas, I'd have been rich on it. But just in humble old Texas where we don't have gambling yet. Yeah, future's coming. So let's dive in with night one. It started off with a championship match. Rhea Ripley versus the man, Becky Lynch. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I am a massive fan of Becky Lynch. Her character turn years ago to the man persona has done nothing but make her character and everything better. I love that. She is a badass walking. That is what she is. So, her and Rhea Ripley, straight powers, good action. You could tell Becky was suffering a little under the weather from the week, and it showed a little early on. But Eventually, she got into it, and it produced a good match. Rhea Ripley did win, which I called. You're not going to kill her momentum. She has been doing too much, and lately, where you cannot just stop her and say, hey, we got to stop this all. No, she's a badass. She's power. And to be honest, I kind of see, I don't know how many Attitude Era listeners and watchers we have out there, but she kind of reminds me of China. And that's a big compliment coming from me, because I thought China was awesome. She held the Intercontinental title, woman Intercontinental champion. I think Rhea Ripley could fill those shoes, and it's a tall order to fill because not anybody could just walk in there and do it. But Rhea Ripley, I believe she has what it takes to step in there, wrestle. She's got the charisma, she's got the following. She's doing wonderful things. If she ever drops that world title, I would love to see her to make a run on the men's side and the Intercontinental Championship. I think she would fit perfectly into that. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Now, I don't know if this was a passing of the torch type thing for Becky Lynch or how it all went down, but I do know she kind of, you saw the look on her face at the end. She was kind of down, but you know Becky's always going to bounce back. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. Thanks for the love. But Becky's always going to bounce back because she's the man. She definitely wears the pants in the family. Yes, I know she's married to Seth Rollins. I said what I said. But the next match, the 6-pack ladder match, men's, man, that was an awesome one. I could have watched that for another 20 minutes. I don't know about y'all, but it was a great one. It was an absolute outstanding match. It had some big hits, had some comedy thrown in there with R-Truth. Man, he can take a boring match and make it wonderful, make it great. He is an awesome wrestler into it. Or at least he has been. A lot of y'all don't know, but R-Truth was actually first NWA Black Heavyweight Champion. He has been in this business for a long time, and he has earned everything he's got coming to him. So, but speaking of which, there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of ladders being pummeled. But the first ones to get it was, I did not see this coming, A-Town Down Under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I did not see that coming at all. I knew they were going to split them up. I knew they were going to split it, but I did not see them taking it. I was kind of a little shocked on that. I expected, anybody else, even Judgment Day, to keep the 2 belts as I call on that one, but even they didn't walk away with any belts. Then they had, I nailed it. I love it. Awesome Truth. I said last week, we did not get enough of them last time around. They were just tipping the iceberg whenever it came to their first run together, and I think it was cut short. I thought they should have kept it in. They should have let it run its course, at least another 6 months to a year. They could have had something great on their hands, but they cut it short, separated them, and let them go their own way. I thought that was a horrible mistake because neither one of them did anything after that. I was like, they just kind of putted around like lost puppies. But Awesome Truth takes home the Raw Tag Team Championship, which was awesome. That was a horrible impression of The Miz, but it's what I got. I had to take it. So, the tag team ladder match was announced. Now, we didn't get any Hardys in there or anybody else, but we did get a great match out of the whole thing. So, worth every second. I was happy with it. Now, then we move on to Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Dominic, Dirty Dom to some, and Santos Escobar. Now, last week, I called it. Rey was going to win. But here's why I think it's going to happen. Because I think this is getting ready to set up. This is a long storytelling. We got Triple H, Paul Levesque era, as they said several times last night. But we got Triple H running, and he likes to play the long story game. And I think we are going to final match in WWE, maybe ever, retirement will be against Dirty Dom, his son. And I think that's how Rey Mysterio is going to walk away from wrestling at WrestleMania. And I think they're going to set it up this year. Rey Mysterio, he might go another year or two, but If not set up this year, they're going to set it up next year for sure. As a final match, Dirty Dom versus Rey Mysterio. Look for it next year or the year after. But that's what I'm predicting. That's the only way I could see Rey Mysterio walking away. Is he's going to leave on his own terms, and what better way than to pass the torch to your son? So I think that's going to be a wonderful way to leave. Now, the match I was looking forward to the most, because I thought it would be the best one, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Main event Jey. And I was not disappointed. This was like literally two brothers out there fighting over the last chicken leg. They were out there, I was like, setting it up. They knew each other. They did some hard hitting. They did some fast moving. They did everything. It was everything I would want from a match, to be honest. I can't complain at all. Main event Jey takes it home, which I kind of predicted. They cannot kill his momentum. He has separated himself from the bloodline. So now it's time for him to establish himself a little bit more. So I think main event Jey. Yeet! Yeah, that just happened again. Thanks for the love. Appreciate it, Austin. But yeah, main event Jey. They have got to give him a serious run now. He's broken away, done the singles. Now it's time for him to go set his sights on a championship, and let's go for it. I personally think he should have a run at the U.S. Championship. Yes, Logan Paul, which we'll get to him in a moment. He's on night 2. So I think that he should set his sights on that and go after it. It's time for him to establish himself as a singles wrestler. The Usos, as great of a tag team as they are, it is time for main event Jey to really step into the main event spotlight and keep going with it. He's built up. It's time. Keep it going. Now, after that, we had the 6-woman tag match with Belair, Naomi, and Jade versus Damage Control. Now, as y'all keeping up, the women continuously amaze me on WWE. I don't know if that's the same for y'all, but to me, the women's league on there, the women's division, they are stepping it up every single time they get a chance. And they did not disappoint as well. Now, you saw a little ring rust over there with Naomi, as you've seen the past few pay-per-views. I see it. I know everybody else does. But overall, she's still a great athlete, put on a hell of a show. Then we had Ms. EST, Bianca Belair, doing her thing. Now, she is great. Now, I know everybody's high up on Jade. But I'm not there yet. I mean, she's big. She's powerful. God knows she's gorgeous. But, I mean, I haven't seen really much except for power moves. How is she going to step into these women's division, which is fast, high velocity, a little bit of power? I mean, outside of Rhea Ripley and a couple others, there's really no power wrestlers in the women's division. They have it all. They do it all. So I don't know how she's going to fit in, but I'll give her the shot. I'll give her the just dues and let her do things. So before I just completely throw her away. So that being said, Belair, Naomi, and Jade take home the victory over Damage Control. It was not a good weekend for Damage Control at all, which I kind of thought was they should have got something out of it, but they didn't. Now, this was kind of the one, like the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Sami Zayn, the ultimate underdog. But now everybody saw this coming. It was time for Gunther to drop that, and I'll get to my reasons in a moment. And Sami Zayn is going to be a title holder, but he's not going to hold it long. You got too many people eyeing that thing, especially after run Gunther has been on. Held it for over 600 days. I mean, come on. You're almost talking, I was like, he set the record. He's the longest reigning IC champ in WWE history. So, that being said, where does Gunther go from here? He's got to be thrust into the main event. We have, which we'll get to in a second, new opponents for him to wrestle in the top. We have a lot of things happening on the top level, and we need somebody that has not been there to step in and fill some roles that have been left. So I think Gunther is going to be a perfect fit for that. I see him kind of building along that, having a great SummerSlam match, but I think they're going to set him off in the Royal Rumble next year. It's going to be his coming alive party, and he's going to win it. And then he'll challenge whoever he feels like at that time. That being said, Sami Zayn takes it home. The Ultra Dog wins. Now, for the main event of night one, we all knew it. It was Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. Now, I don't care what anybody says. The Rock, as a heel, as the bad guy, is money. He is gold. He is, if you did not see him in the Attitude Era, you missed out, because him in the Nation, coming up, building what he is today, was solid money Rock. He was the best at what he did back then. If you wanted a person to get on that mic and either make the crowd happy, he was your guy. If you wanted to get on the mic and make them mad, he was your guy. He is on that mic is money. And as far as wrestling abilities, he is still one of the best. Now, he's lost a step or two, but overall, he's still up there. I still wouldn't, if he had a main event match, I would definitely tune in every single time. So that's why I think The Rock is such an important part of that match. Now, last week, I called the Bloodline beating Cody and Seth, and I nailed it, because that set up for a killer main event on night two. Now, this was a great match. It was a fight. They took it more outside than they did in the ring, which played to The Rock's advantage, him being out of the ring for a decade. So The Rock kind of stepped in. He did his thing with fighting, few power moves. We saw the people's elbow. We saw the rock bottom. We saw classic Rock, and we saw Roman kind of doing his thing. Now, Roman Reigns did not slip by that as well. He separated it. He gave us a great show. He did what he did. He's been doing for the past 1,000+ days. Roman Reigns, if you love him or you hate him, you cannot absolutely say anything. He is the tribal chief, and he performed as needed. It was the best match I've seen him in a while, actually, because I think he kind of let loose and he just kind of did his thing. Roman kind of, he was getting a little stale. We didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't do much as well. But this last night one of WrestleMania, he kind of let loose, and it was kind of all Roman. He was performing like 2 years ago whenever he was still trying to become the tribal chief. So, and that's why the Bloodline took it. And it's set up for a hellacious ending to WrestleMania, which we're going to get to in just a moment when we go over night two. Hold on 1 second for me. All right, and we are back for night two of WrestleMania. Can you hear the excitement in my voice? Because it actually got better. I thought it was, I was like, just night one was enough, but then you see night two and you're like, man, how does it top night one? But they did. They absolutely did. They started off with Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Now, a lot of heated, but Drew McIntyre's heat has really been going towards CM Punk. That's where he's like his, which I think is setting up for something down the line. But Seth Rollins, I think, actually had a real injury from the previous night. He tweaked a knee, hyperextended, whatever he did. But he was actually hurt. And the fact that he came out there and did such a great show was, I could not believe it. I mean, I was shocked at how he came across on it. He didn't disappoint. Him and Drew McIntyre put it great. Now, it was a lot of power moves because he couldn't move as fast, because that's why I think his knee was actually tweaked, because he didn't do those high-flying, fast-paced, over-the-top moves. Now, the only bad thing I'll say about Seth Rollins over the weekend, his outfits look like every single evil queen from the Disney movies. Yeah, I said it. If y'all didn't agree with it, come on. Came out looking like he was something straight out of Maleficent. Or she like dressed like Cinderella's evil wicked stepmother. I don't know. That first outfit was something else. The second one didn't do much better. Looked like he was coming out of Pocahontas or Moana. I don't know. But he still put on a great show for what he was injured. He is a constant professional, so I'll give that straight to him. Seth, thank you for the show. Even though you could tell you were a little hurt on your end. But they come out. Now, Drew McIntyre, after a bunch of power moves, finally puts, I mean, we're talking about several claymores to put Seth Rollins down. He was throwing everything he had at him. I was like, constantly. So, and Seth was taking it and going and going, and finally gave out, Drew McIntyre is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion for all of 5 minutes. Because guess what? He picks a fight with Watermelon. Hello. Drew McIntyre picks a fight with CM Punk on the outside. Which, by the way, if y'all didn't catch it, Drew McIntyre actually stopped and tweeted in the middle of a match. Man, if that ain't some straight T.O. stuff right there, y'all know what I'm talking about if you're Cowboy fans. That's something like T.O. would do. I don't know. But tweeted in the middle of a match. Then all of a sudden, as I finishes, he's talking trash, holding the belt up. He kissed his lady on the side. Then he talks trash to the wrong injured man. CM Punk takes his brace off and beats Drew McIntyre with it after dropping him on the table. So you're like, okay, great. But then you hear the music. The music comes out. Who's coming? Damian Priest. Mr. I should say, Senior Money in the Bank. Now, if I kind of saw that one coming a little bit because Money in the Bank ain't that far off, and you have to do something. Why not do it at WrestleMania? So, Senor Money in the Bank comes out. He's like, I'm cashing in. You could tell he's serious this time. It's happening. Done. Cashes it in. I was like, Drew McIntyre's already beat up by CM Punk, and he gets over there and puts him out real quick with a hell of boom. New WWE World Heavyweight Championship goes to the Judgment Day and Damian Priest. That is so awesome. How else do you finish? You know, the reason I find that the funniest and the irony behind it is because that's exactly how Seth Rollins got his first championship. So a Seth Rollins match delivered Damian Priest his first world title. I just find a little irony without a touch of humility in there. But kudos for Drew McIntyre for being a good sport about it all. Yeah, that's going to play out nicely with him and CM Punk for the next few months. That's going to be fun. Now, let's get on to the Pride versus the Final Testament. This was a straight fight. Boom. The end. Powerhouse. There was a little bit of high-flying by, Montez Ford, but most of this was all power. Bobby Ashley, God bless that man. He is a beast of a man, and for his age to still look as good and perform as well as he did, man, I can't believe it. Man, I don't know what his spirit animal is, but I need to find where he got it. Get one. Man, he is amazing. But so that's but total the Pride comes out, beats the Final Testament, but it was a great little match. Wasn't my favorite. My favorite actually came next. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This was, you could tell how good these wrestlers are because this match was awesome. I mean, came out and it just, boom, every single way you can do it. Moves. Now, LA Knight came out. Like I said last week, you cannot kill LA Knight's momentum. He has got to do something. Now, with the championships the way they are, I can kind of see LA Knight getting in the little mix with Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. Or maybe he wants to flip the script, go bad guy, take a run at the new champion, which we'll get to in just a moment. But LA Knight and AJ Styles put on a great show, high-flying, action-packed, fast-paced. It was probably, in my opinion, one of the best matches of the night, if not the best. Now, let's go straight into the triple threat. Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Now, this started out exactly the way it should have. Randy Orton and KO teaming up to beat the hell out of Logan Paul. Yes, that was a perfect way to start that match. Make him earn his stripes. He hadn't earned jack yet. So, basically the first 5 minutes was all of them wailing on each other. Then that one of them goes to try to get a pin, and there it is. Now we're going to go for it. Now it's all out. Now, Logan Paul had a nice, fun person in the Prime bottle, which Randy Orton quickly dismissed into the table on the out or the announcer's desk on the outside with the RKO. Now, Logan Paul's in this match. You know what he's going to whip out. The knuckles. The knucks. Man, his has a right hand. Now, here's where it all got interesting at the end. Because Randy Orton got them knucks. But instead of keeping them, he handed them over to the ref. He's like, I'm going to beat him fair and square. But like I said last week, no, it's not going to happen. KO and Randy Orton kind of canceled each other out, and that's how this match just ended, with Logan Paul taking the win after an RKO, a stunner, and then a nice frog splash. I mean, it ended nicely. I was like, but Logan Paul, I was like, got out by the skin of his teeth. Yes, there's one of them Southern Sands. Boom. That is how that went. But let's go on to the Women's World WWE Championship. Bayley versus Io Sky. Now I've been very impressed with them the past few months. Now I've been a fan of Bayley's for a while because I think she's just outstanding wrestler, puts on a great show, always puts everything she's got into it. But Io Sky, I've been actually watching her for a while, and she has that loose cannon willing to throw herself at anything to try to get that win and put on a great show. And she didn't disappoint either. Did a lot of high flying. Bayley tried to keep it on the ground, but it kept on going to the air. There was constant back and forth on submissions. But like I was hoping, like I predicted, Bayley took it home. I thought it was a great WrestleMania moment for Bayley. She has earned this spot. And this might be her last title run. I don't know, but it was a great way for her to kind of enjoy WrestleMania. It's always Charlotte Flair, it's Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. It's never Bayley, even though Bayley was part of the Four Horsewomen. She never got her WrestleMania moment, and I'm glad she finally did, because she deserves it just as much as everybody else. So congratulations to you, Bayley. You got it. You're a Texas girl. Got to support my Texas people. Now there's just one match to talk about left. Oh, yes, that is it. The main event. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Now, as we talked earlier, they had the tag team, and they left everything out there, but they had to do a one-on-ones with bloodline rules, which means no disqualifications, and anything goes. And it did. The fight got taken everywhere. Into the stands, out of the stands, onto the mat, up the ramp. It was everywhere. And it went a long time. It wasn't like a quick, slow pace. Now, you see Roman kind of doing his methodical, slow down, let it go, and he enjoyed his match. It's like you could see it on his face. He wanted to put everything he had, like this is going to be his last match for a while. And sad as it is, I think it might be for a minute. But let's talk about the ending of this match. Now, all the way through it, it was great all the way. But you knew when people start getting involved, we're getting ready to take this home. And the first one to come out was Jimmy. And he did his thing. But then he is taken out by Yeet himself, Jey Uso. And the way they took out off the ramp onto some tables on the outside. Man, if you were going to take your brother out, you do it that way. Man, that was that was probably the best takeout of this whole ending. But then after that one, you got Sika coming in. He gets Roman, gets him as I call it, the finger point of doom. And the spear at the same time to Cody. Cody kicks out. So what do? You look up and you listen to the music because John Cena has come in to save the day. Yes, John Cena made his WrestleMania appearance and came out to take on Sika Sikoa, put him through the announcer table, and then had a great time. So then I was like, now you got Sika Sikoa out there, and you have John Cena taking him out. Now, all of a sudden, if you smell it, it happened. The Rock's music cues up. He's coming to the stage. And now you got The Rock and Cena face-to-face for the first time in over a decade. And what happens? Pure gold. And The Rock takes out Cena. Puts him on the outside. Now, here's the kicker. After that, you kind of hear the Shield music playing. Now, I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all were thinking this, but I was kind of hoping for a little John Mox, a little Mox coming out there. It didn't happen, but that's what I was kind of hoping. Now, my first hope was Stone Cold music playing against The Rock, and that was going to be my dream ending for that match. But you got the Shield music. Seth Rollins comes in immediately, is taken out by Roman Reigns instead of him knocking out The Rock. So you're like, okay, The Rock's still standing tall. And now he's like, all right, let's take care of business. Let's get going. Let's get this match over with. But then you hear the gong and the lights dim and a sound we haven't heard in a couple years. The Undertaker makes his WrestleMania return. Lights go out. Lights come on, and guess who's in the ring? Undertaker, right behind The Rock, and with a choke slam, takes the Brahma Bull out. 30 seconds of Undertaker was worth the pop that he got that set up that arena. Says it all. It was a massive one. You couldn't have ended like the WrestleMania any better than having him there. After I saw that, I was like, Stone Cold would be great, but man, you cannot deny the sheer force of The Undertaker. Watermelon, hello. So, that by itself, if you take away nothing from that, The Undertaker coming out to do this, it was awesome. So now you got The Rock out, you got Cena out, you got all the interferers out of the way. And of course, the lights go down, Undertaker disappears again, like it never happened. God, he still got it. But then you got Roman and Cody one-on-one. Finish this match up. And they go at it for a minute. Then Cody, with 3 crossroads, takes out Roman Reigns. Now, the happiness on everybody's face, you could not believe it. Even Samantha, the ring announcer, she could hardly get it out because she was broken up and choked. It was a beautiful sign. Cody finished his story. Congratulations, Cody Rhodes. A few years ago, you were a mid-carder that nobody wanted. Now you are WWE Undisputed Champion. Nobody deserves it more. You put in your time, you put in your work. You have earned that, my friend, and I hope the best for you in the future. I was a fan of your father's, a fan of your brothers. Y'all have a rich history of wrestling, and I know you're going to do wonderful things with that title. But that also brings the next question up. What do you do? You just finished your story. Where do you go? Because your whole thing was getting to and winning against Roman Reigns. Where do you go from here? That's going to be, they got to throw some things. Now, apparently they got some ideas ready to rock and roll. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do that's going to top the tribal chief and the storyline. Because you had the bloodline versus the storyline. That's what it was. That's the way it should have been billed. But he finished his story. We're going to see where he goes from there. Now, I think that's going to be an amazing roller coaster ride back and forth, but we're going to see. So, that being said, there's a lot of things that happen. A lot of places we don't know where it's going to go. Now, we've been proven lately, Triple H doesn't like to switch up titles too much. So, are we going to have a long run with Cody? Are we going to have a short run? Are we going to have something back and forth? Or are we going to have a long-standing tribal chief type victory over 1,000 days? Now, first off, as I end this beautiful podcast, as I'm sure y'all love it, thank you very much, Roman Reigns. Now, I was not a massive fan of the tribal chief because he seemed like a bit of an ass, but that's his job. But as far as entertainment, you made every single match, every time you wrestled one-on-one, that everybody tuned in just to see you lose, and you constantly disappointed, and that made them want it that much more. That's what that victory really meant. So, Roman Reigns, thank you for the longest modern-day run. You have put in your time as the face of this company, and you have served this company well, or at least WWE, because I don't represent them. So, on that note, let's wrap this up. We had a great time. I got some new equipment to play with, and it's all kinds of fun. Hope I sounded even better. Hope I look even better. I don't know. But I'm going to keep doing this every single week. So we'll see you next week. And by the way, you can tune in to the beaboutitpodcast.com. We are World Wide Web style. Till then, don't talk about it. Be about it.